But then when you've got Angel screaming, Angel does it again. And
That was something, right?
that was something.
I'm sorry, you canceled the support for the game a month ago.
Why would they even host a trade?
I don't know.
And I sit down and he picks up one donut and eats it. So you want to QA games?
When the rubber meets the road, they're gonna be like, oh my god, I don't like seeing Mario get his skull smashed.
Oh, I would love
It
to see
doesn't
that.
work.
I would love to see
Yeah,
that.
again, like I said.
It's that time again, another solo episode with the Lanky Soldier himself. Welcome to BattlefieldOne Podcast, the best battle relay podcast on the planet, and I'm not even joking, we're the best, so thank you for tuning in and sticking with us all the time. It means a lot to us. So welcome to BattlefieldOne Podcast. We talk about Battlefield, only Battlefield, as you guessed it by the title of this podcast. My name is Tom, also known as TheLankySoldier's Soldier. I'm the host of this show, and my co-host, Ray Edmunds, is not available today because he's busy with life. So I decided, you know what? I know he's available later, so let's just do I'll do a solo episode now. Just have a one-on-one with you guys, talk about what's happening with the podcast, what's happening with the Battlefield franchise, talk some news and all that kind of stuff. Just have an intimate, casual conversation with you guys. You know, let's just have a short one, have a quick one, just relax. It's before the holidays, and it's 9th of December when this episode is gonna be released. So the Winter Offensive update is already out, and we're gonna talk about it on the next episode. And when Ray is available today, later, I'm recording on Saturday. We'll record a Patreon episode for you guys. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you'll see an episode of Live Gaming Gathering. We're gonna talk about some random stuff and see how it goes. But for this episode, let's just have a simple one-on-one conversation with you guys. Just chillax, casual. I literally just have I don't really have notes, but I have notes, but they're like all over the place and they have no structure. It's just for me to remember some stuff. But yeah, let's just have a conversation and have a nice casual episode. Let's just talk about Battlefield. Simple as that. About podcast, all that kind of stuff. Just casual, just very casual. Anyway, so enjoy my ramblings and welcome to BattlefieldOne Podcast. Alright guys, so as usual, before we continue, just quick mention the survey. I know some people have problems with the survey entering, on the website, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna say this. Please do the survey. If you're listening to this podcast, please dedicate a couple of minutes of your time to do the survey about the podcast. Just go to the description of this episode, wherever you listen to this episode. Please go to the description, click on Google Forms document link, and just do the survey. It's just 3-5 minutes max. Just do it quickly. Let us know what you think about the podcast. Let us know what you like to see with the podcast, what you don't like to see, like anything. It's easy, quick, no fuss, because we're doing some changes. After New Year's, there will be some new stuff happening with the podcast, but I want to involve you guys in the process, how you want to see the podcast, all that kind of stuff. I want to gather feedback. I want to see how you guys feel. So please do the survey that is in the description of this episode. Click on the link and do the survey. And you'll get a free Patreon subscription because you did the survey. That's all I'm going to say. So, yeah, thank you guys for doing the survey. I already got some really some interesting answers. And you know what? Because we do this thing annually where we talk about our progress for the podcast, progress with the Patreon, all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna do that episode before New Year's, like a year in review, that type of thing. Maybe we should go through the responses and see what you guys said. Maybe we should do that. Also, I forgot to tell you, the survey is all anonymous. So if you want to say some really mean stuff, you can. Don't worry. I will have no idea who said what in the survey because it's all anonymous. So please do the survey because I want to involve you guys in the in the discussion, in the process, because this podcast is for you, not for me. Like, because if I really want to do it for me, I would just do Patreon episodes for myself, and that's it, you know. But you listening, you enjoy our ramblings, you know, when we talk about Battlefield. So I want to involve you guys into the process of you just, you know, help us to help you, you know, to have entertainment in this show. So please do the survey, and you're gonna get a free Patreon subscription. So yeah. And of course, our socials in the description, all that kind of stuff. So you're gonna find all that. And of course, patreon.com/TheLankySoldier. It helps us out. You get exclusive content. You get early access. You get all the behind the scenes, all that kind of stuff. So, and it just helps us, you know. It helps me pay Ray a little bit, you know, with the Patreon subscription, you know. So it does help us and so on. So please check out patreon.com/TheLankySoldier. And if you don't want to, like, you know, you're not sure about supporting us, use the free trial. You know, just see how it is. Use the free trial, see if you enjoy it. If you enjoyed the content we produce there, subscribe, you know, help us out. It means a lot. So yeah, that's kind of all I want to say. So that's all the housekeeping stuff out of the way. Okay, let's talk about Battlefield. You know, let's talk about Battlefield. So like I said, I don't know if I actually said in the intro that I barely have any notes. I have notes, but they're all over the place. They have no structure. So let's just talk about it. So first and foremost, I just want to say that the Battlefield Labs is back. So in our Discord, we were talking about, what's happening with Labs? We haven't heard anything about Labs. Like, it's been almost 2 months since the release of the game, and there was no mention of Labs whatsoever. And as soon as we started talking about that in Discord, the next day, they literally said, oh yeah, Battlefield Labs is back. And you can play in the playtest tomorrow. Alright. Do you think I got an invitation to play that playtest? No. Thankfully, I have people that do have access to the playtest. And also, I was talking to someone, another game dev, I would say. I don't know. I won't give too much. But I was talking to someone, and both of us are just confused. How did they decide who to invite to these playtests? Unless I know that it's being handled by a different group. It's not the same. It's not the developers. It's like EA playtesting. You know, it's a different not company. Department at EA that they're handling all that kind of stuff. So I guess they can give some access to specific people, and they give it to developers or marketing, and they choose to whom to give it. But when it comes to like actual just normal people like me, even though I'm part of EA program, all that kind of stuff, but I'm still a normal dude, you know. I don't have any sway or anything, you know, that can change their opinion. Regardless, I'm just a normal gamer, normal Battlefield player. I still don't have access to Battlefield Labs, so every time someone leaks anything about Battlefield Labs, I'm like, yeah, fair play. You leaked it, I can talk about it, because I didn't sign any NDAs. I didn't sign anything. I don't have access to it. So I'm like, okay, sure. Fair play. You leaked it, I'll talk about it. And of course, it helped us. It helped with the podcast. It literally helped with the podcast. People were, oh, sorry about my phone. Is there anything important? Wait, I need to check because it's... no, okay, it's not important. It's just my friend telling me to wake up, which I woke up 45 minutes ago. Anyway, so I was talking about labs. So I don't have access to labs. So, but I don't, and loads of people that I know that played Battlefield and took part in loads of Battlefield alphas, which I also did. I don't have access to it, and a lot of people that I know that participate in loads of Battlefield alphas don't have access to Battlefield Labs. So I don't understand how they pick the player base, the players for the Battlefield Labs playtest. Regardless, a playtest was happening, and they were testing the winter offensive patch. And from what I heard from the... You know, funny enough, I didn't see any leaks whatsoever or anything, any communication or anything. Like, people weren't leaking anything from the playtest, which is kind of weird. So that means basically nothing interesting was happening. or people did not understand what was happening, or maybe the playtest wasn't not going that well. Regardless, but for what I heard, from what people told me from that happened at Battlefield Labs playtest was testing the Winter Offensive playtest or update, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't that good, wasn't that interesting. Audio apparently is better. Of course, some skins got leaked, from the Battlefield Labs playtest, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, whatever. Audio was better, but apparently the tank audio, the vehicle audio was not that. It's not better, kind of worse actually. Apparently the hit registration was hit and miss, so it did feel better, but apparently it was not that good either. So there was like loads of conflicting information that I was getting, but at the end of the day, it was nothing special. It was nothing special, nothing interesting, nothing that, like, oh my god, we have to, know about this. Like, oh my god, Winter Offensive is going to be amazing. So, I don't know, from the playtest I heard, it's just like, whatever, just whatever. So I just hope the audio is going to actually be actually good, And speaking of audio, all that kind of stuff, they did release Battlefield Studios an article, a blog post, a community post, whatever you want to call it, and it's literally just patch notes. It's patch notes for the next update, which is happening today if you're listening on public feeds. If you're listening on this on the 9th of December, that's when the update is already should be out, and they released the patch notes. So I'm not going to read you the patch notes, all that kind of stuff, because you can read it yourself. This is not that type of podcast where just like, oh yeah, let me read the whole patch notes, all the bug fixes and everything. Like, you know what, now, if you listen to this podcast, I believe you're a smart individual. You know what you're looking for, and I don't have to read you the patch notes. But I'll discuss certain parts of the patch notes that really caught my eye, and the community also like picked out on that. And I'm just gonna say this: patch notes look good. The patch notes look really, really, really good right now. Like there's so many fixes, so many things that will change. Well, you might, as a casual player, you probably will not notice loads of changes, but from what I've seen, it's like they put a lot of effort into this. This is definitely the pre-holiday patch that's like has all the important stuff that hopefully all this important stuff will keep the game going and leave in good condition until developers are back from their holidays, after New Year's. So this is definitely that. This is the type of updates. Like, let's squeeze as much as we can so people can enjoy the game for the holidays with minimal problems as possible. So this is one of those patches, that will be will be happening, already happened. And yeah, I went through the list. I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of bug fixes, that's a lot of changes, all that kind of stuff. And here's the thing, a lot of things probably not even documented here in this patch notes, because when it comes to like gaming studios, like Battlefield Studios, or just all the studios working together and just trying to cooperate together on certain, how to change the game, how to update the game, all that kind of stuff. Lots of stuff don't get caught, or lots of stuff gets missed and don't get mentioned in the patch notes, because at the end of the day, game development is like any creative field. If you're like, a developer, you're working on this game and you miss, you're working on something and you quickly figure out how to fix a bug, and you fix the bug in like, I don't know, let's say 2 hours. Let's say it's just out of nowhere, just around like, oh yeah, wait, I can fix this bug. I just figured it out. And you fix the bug and you just never documented it because it was so fast and so not important, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe it is important. God knows. It just sometimes doesn't get documented, and sometimes it gets lost in the feed, in miscommunication. So because all this blog post has to be like read by God knows how many people before it gets approved by executives, important people, lead developers and so on. And it's like it goes through the revision until it's like, yeah, we can post this and so on, and something gets missed. That's why I don't really believe the patch notes all the time. When it comes to like certain it's not even Battlefield Studios only. It's also like other game developers, like other games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, or whatever the case may be, right? I'm very, very off patch notes because I know some stuff get missed. So it's like, yeah, it gives you a general idea what got changed, but keep in mind, it's not everything listed there. So that being said, the patch notes look good. The update looks good. But for what I caught my eye, so the first and foremost, of course, it was literally in the first paragraph, they said, audio. The audio is getting loads of improvements. The footsteps will be much clearer. They're lowering the friendly footsteps, and apparently they will remove. Or I think Ray was talking about last episode. We were talking about ambient noise, all that kind of stuff. That's been reduced to a certain extent. And funny enough, I actually played Warzone, the new Warzone update that came out last week. Well, this week technically. And I'm just like, God, the audio is so fucking good right now. Audio is so good in Warzone right now. In Call of Duty, it's so good. And actually, yeah, I should mention, like, specify Warzone and Call of Duty. When I say Call of Duty, it's more like multiplayer Call of Duty. When I say Warzone, it's the Battle Royale version of Call of Duty. So in Warzone, the audio right now is fucking amazing. So I played the update and I'm like, wow, it's actually really good. I kind of wish that, RedSec was in the same, way, like the same audio, like, expertise. Granted, it took them 5 years to get here, but I'm glad RedSec or just Battlefield 6 or just the whole Battlefield game is getting an audio pass that will try to replicate that level of expertise with the audio. So I hope. So in this patch notes, they said audio is good. We'll see if the audio is good, if it's improved. And next episode, we're going to do about, we're going to discuss this update, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you heard my stomach rumbling because goddamn, I'm so hungry. But anyway, we're going with the podcast. We're going with the episode talk. After this, I'm so going to be eating like a pig. So yeah, audio is getting changed. That's good. They did loads of changes to Breakthrough. So apparently internally, Battlefield Studios is saying that the defenders have an upper hand in the win rate. So there's more winners on the defender side than the attacker side when it comes to Breakthrough. Now, if you've been listening to Battlefield 1 podcast for a while, you know that I am not a fan. I really dislike Breakthrough as a game mode. Never liked it, never cared, so on. The only time Breakthrough was good or interesting was literally back in Battlefield 1 when it first came out in the first place. Because back then it was more like an event. It was like a cinematic experience, right? The gameplay itself was not, it was not that important because you were just there for the experience, right? So that's why Breakthrough or / Operations was really good back in Battlefield 1 because it was an experience, it was like an event, like it's a bit different vibe from your typical Conquest game. And of course, people loved Breakthrough, so of course we got it in Battlefield 5, we got it in 2042, and of course we got it in Battlefield 6 now. And Breakthrough is just, I'm sorry, it's not a good game mode. It's not. So that's my opinion about Breakthrough. So every time I talk about this game mode, I'm like, I just don't care. I really don't care about Breakthrough. I played it a couple of times, just either complete the challenge or whatever the case may be, or maybe friends want to play Breakthrough. I'm like, okay, whatever, let's play Breakthrough. And I never really had fun with Breakthrough. So that's my opinion of Breakthrough. So, but because they looked at the data apparently, and they say that the defenders have the upper hand. Now, do I believe in that? Yeah, kinda. So, like from what I had experienced, like defenders on certain maps definitely have the upper hand. So they definitely need to do some changes to make sure that it's actually fun and for both sides, for attackers and defenders. And I will not tell you if these changes are good or bad, but the way community reacted to these changes are just absolutely negative. It's like people saying like, you don't play Breakthrough. Well, why you do it? Like why these changes are being made like by people that never played Breakthrough? And because apparently they removed certain vehicles from defenders, they gave the vehicles to the attackers. So basically, at one point, apparently the attackers can have like 4 tanks on the Liberation Peak, for example, and defenders have none, which I agree kind of sounds wrong. But at the same time, I'm thinking, well, it is kind of easy to defend in Breakthrough when you have... okay, if the attackers have tanks and vehicles for days, you know, I guess just whip out Engineer class and just restore all of them was not a bad thing. But then again, as a tank driver, that I think I'm level 52, level 53 with the tank, so I'm beyond the elite badge at this point. And when you have engineers repairing you, yeah, it kind of gets difficult to destroy tanks and all that kind of stuff. But then again, all the engineers focus on all vehicles? That's the thing. So I guess you just have to like prioritize which vehicles you have to destroy first, so you can defend better. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a Breakthrough fan. I don't know what these changes to me don't mean much. I'll have to play and see if it's somewhat fun or whatever. But I already made up my mind about Breakthrough. I don't think Breakthrough is a good mode. When they lowered the player numbers, like was it from 64 to 48 or 32? I can't remember what was the number. But they lowered the player numbers like right on the server. And people bitched like, oh, why are you making this war? So this is boring and so on. And I'm just thinking, just play Rush. Rush is such a superior mode than Breakthrough. Breakthrough is just, I don't know, for me, Breakthrough is just a really brain dead mode that I really don't like. And I spilled my drink on my freaking mousepad. Here we go. All right. That's why it's wiped. Okay. So yeah, I don't know if these changes are good or bad, because I don't really play Breakthrough. I don't like Breakthrough. I think Breakthrough is just a brain dead mode. Play Rush is much superior. But yeah, the way the community reacted, they just hate these changes. They just hate these changes because this looks like a overcorrection, and defenders just will have the upper hand. And the people say like, okay, the Battlefield Studios, let's say, like they're trying to, you know, balance the scales, you know, to make it 50-50, attackers versus defense, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you can't really do that, just because at the end of the day, it all depends what kind of team you have and on what kind of map you have. I mean, sure, you can get the data, which maps are really unbalanced. Sure, you work on those. But they literally changed every single map in the game in Breakthrough. They changed the sectors, they changed like something got changed on every single map. I'm like, sure. But sometimes I think it's like you don't need to do that, because, you know, I mean, sure, some of the changes are not that big. There's like small updates, sure, but I don't like. Yeah, the way the community writes is just like, yeah, it's all negative, all that kind of stuff. So I guess we'll see. But long story short, what I'm trying to say is I'm not a fan of Breakthrough. I don't know if these changes are good or not. Breakthrough is a brain dead mode, but people that play Breakthrough, they say this is a bad changes. So I guess these are bad changes. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm just saying, play Rush. Just play Rush. Rush is a superior mode. Like Breakthrough should not exist. Realistically, I'm sorry. Breakthrough is such a shit mode. It just is. I'm sorry. It's just like brain dead. I know people love sometimes brain dead modes. I get that. I mean, Jesus Christ, I play Call of Duty sometimes. Like, I understand. I fully understand that. But I'm just like, I can't be invested emotionally to care this fucking much. If it's shit, it's shit. It's fine. Like, I will not be sad if Breakthrough never returns ever again. Like, but well, we'll see how the changes are. But yeah, they just basically gave more vehicles to the attackers, and the attackers basically like have the upper hand now. So we'll see. There was also changes like to the supply pouch, which I actually had to read it. So supply pouch, so it's the support class equipment thingy that you throw a pouch at the player and they instantly heal, all that kind of stuff, like faster. So fixed an issue with supply pouch instantly regenerated health on deployment. Fixed an issue with incorrect ammunition setup that caused inconsistent resupply behavior. Removed the initial heal on gadget deployment. The supply pouch now only heals over time. So that's the big one here. And so the way the pouch, it's not overpowered, but it's a very aggressive type of thing. So it's perfect for aggressive players that want to play support. And it instantly gave you 20 health when you like dropped it at the player, and they instantly gained 20 health. And then after that, it's like the passive healing going on. Now you won't get that 20 health on top. Now you're gonna get like a small passive healing. Of course, it's gonna be faster than your normal one. And I don't think I like that. It also it took a while to unlock the supply pouches because of the stupid challenges, and they changing that to be less strong. Now they basically nerfed it, and I'm like, why? It's already not that good to begin with, and it does help, other players to be more aggressive with it, and it's just like, I don't think it's necessary. Okay, sure, kind of. Again, maybe there's a reasoning again. There must be a reasoning behind it. So I don't know. We'll see. And the other one, there was like the caused a lot of problems in the community. People started losing their shit, which I almost lost my shit too. They said about like, oh, you can only see 2 revives next to you, something like that. So when people, like loads of people died in front of you, right? Like people died, right? They're dead. And you're a support class, and you see the revive notifications, the icon above their bodies. So apparently they lowered that to 2. You can only see 2 closest to you, all that kind of stuff, and you won't see anything in the distance. So that's what the patch note said, right? Then Battlefield Studios, so the actual Reddit account, had to take, step in and say like, oh no. Everything you see in front of your screen, you still will see all the dead bodies on your screen just fine, but you won't see everything on the edge of the screen. So you only will see 2 maximum on the edge of the screen. So like, when you don't look at the body that is like, let's say behind you, right? And on the edge of your screen, they will show you that there's someone behind you. So that's limited to 2. And I think in that way, it kind of makes sense. It kind of like to reduce the clutter on your screen. It's like, yeah, like you don't need like gazillion revives happening on the edge of on each screen, on your screen, on each edge, right? You don't need like revive notifications everywhere. So they limited that to 2. So they had to clarify that, which makes sense, I guess. That doesn't sound too bad. It's like whatever. Like I'm guessing if you're a really okay player, you will look around anyway, see what's happening. You won't rely on that edge of the screen thing. Like it's important, and it shows you the closest one, which is also important. So it doesn't sound like a bad change. That's fine. But yeah, also for some reason I noticed, where is it? I'm going to this patch notes right now. There was like a weapon change that made no sense to me. They added more recoil. Here we go. Reduced recoil magnitude, but increased recoil variation on the M250, NVO, RPK, and the Sword 300 SC. So that's the carbine, I think? Assault rifle, LMG, carbine. So from what I remember, okay, I used the RPK, I used the SG, I used the SOAR, and I think I used the NVO a little bit. From what I remember, those don't have recoil whatsoever, especially the SOAR. I remember the SOAR, the carbine version, doesn't have any recoil whatsoever. It's just a laser beam. And apparently they're adding more recoil or more... Actually, no, they reduce the recoil magnitude, but they increase the recoil variation. So there's going to be more bloom, basically, on these weapons. And I'm like, but these weapons were never good to begin with. Like, especially the RPK. Some people say, like, some people die by the RPK. Oh yeah, RPK is really good. I'm like, I played the RPK to level 30 to unlock the camo, and I never enjoyed playing with the RPK. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I don't care about the RPK. It's like, the RPK is garbage. So, and the SOAR is like, it's not the most best hitting weapon either. It's accurate, sure, it's like a laser beam, but like, okay. It's just a pea shooter in the way I found it. And they nerfing it, giving more bloom and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, but it's already shit. So, I don't know. Here's the thing. Weapon balance, all that kind of stuff is not really my expertise, because I usually just go like, okay, what feels best for me. And from what I remember using these weapons, that's just like, But they basically say these weapons now perform less effectively at long range, with SG-55-3R receiving the most noticeable adjustments. Okay, so they're basically nerfing the long range capability of this weapon. So yeah, like I said, they're adding more bloom, basically. They're adding more bloom to these guns, so because they're really good in long distance. And I'm like thinking, well, what about the SMGs? Did they even mention the SMGs? I haven't seen anything about SMGs. SMGs are still the dominating weapon class in the game. SMGs still can perform really well in long distances. Sure, you might not get the damage, don't get me wrong, but they still perform really well in long distances. And yet here you are. You're nerfing an LMG and some carbines and one assault rifle to be less effective in distance than the actual SMG. I don't understand. Also, the patch notes never, I don't know if they mentioned, one of the community posts, they mentioned, oh yeah, we're gonna have a vehicle pass, balance the vehicles, all that kind of stuff, because the vehicles right now do need some changes. Like, they really need some changes. And those they said, yeah, we're gonna do it in the winter offensive update. We'll do like a first pass of the vehicle balance. I see none on these patch notes. But like I said, maybe the patch notes do miss, some bits. So maybe maybe vehicle changes are happening, but they're not mentioned in the patch notes. Like I said, stuff can happen like last minute, and they could not push it through the patch notes, but it's probably pushed into the game. I don't know. We'll see. So that's why, like I said, I don't really trust the patch notes that much. But yeah, it's like, yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing about the vehicles. And vehicles do need some balance changes because some of them just don't make sense. For example, even though I'm level 53 with the tank, the APS, Active Protection System, absolute dog shit. You need it. You need to run it as a tank driver because it just helps you so much with survivability. But it's so fucking garbage and not consistent. Like, you activate it, it takes a second for it to be active, and then when it's active for a second, it still doesn't work when the rocket hits you. I'm like, okay, so what's the point? Like, so I don't understand how this works. It's very buggy, it's not consistent, and it's just like, yeah. So it just pisses me off. So it does need loads of balance changes, loads of work, and that's only the ground vehicles. Like, I heard the people that fly jets and helicopters, apparently that's even more abysmal there. So yeah, so good luck, everyone. That's all I'm gonna say. And of course, there's some red sex stuff and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so yeah, just it's patch notes, whatever. I don't really care about the patch notes that much. We'll see. Okay, so there's something I want to talk about. Like, no one really talked about because it was like an issue that got fixed almost instantly. So there was a Twitter account that noticed, I think his name is Battlefield Archive, that's his name? Wait, just to be sure, I wanna confirm. Sorry, Battlefield Chronicles. He does like lore stuff, I think. Is he? Yes. Yes. He's doing lore stuff. Okay, anyway, Twitter account called Battlefield Chronicles. He noticed that the Battle Pass end date got extended from 20th of January to the 20th, 5th, was it 20th? Wait. Let me check. I have to get this correctly. I had to get the information correctly. So, okay. So, initially, he noticed the original date, which was the 20th of January, that's when Season 1 ends. This Season 1 ends 20th of January, 2026. And apparently the new date was 17th of February, which was changed in the menu. Right. So that's a whole month of delay. That was in the game. That was changed in the game. The next day, that got changed back to 20th of January, to the original date. So, this was not picked up by anyone. No one picked it up in all. Also, Battle Pass. It's a Battle Pass. Who gives a damn? Well, it kind of tells you what's going on behind the scenes with the development of this game. So, what this tells me. Stuff is happening in the background. which is obviously happens with every game. That's obviously every live service game has stuff happening in the background. Duh, game development. But what this tells me, so they are struggling with something. They're very struggling with this game in the background that they really needed a month to delay the new next season. So when it comes to like delay, like changes, new season, new content, new maps, or whatever the case may be, right? There's like new season means like a big update to the game. Usually that's what it means. So they eternally decide, you know what, we need to delay this by a month. The next day, they change that. Okay, we're not dealing this by a month. So this basically tells me, developers, someone made a decision. Really, we need more time. Somehow we managed to go through all the hoops and everything. People probably are like, okay, we need to extend it. Like, yeah, we need a month to finish the season 2 update, all that kind of stuff. We need more time because after holidays, all that kind of stuff, people start, gathering around, like, making sure that everything's working, all that kind of stuff, like, probably they have no time to make sure that everything's working, like, okay, I get it. So, let's just say they delayed by a month. That basically tells me that, okay, they're so struggling with everything in the background, which is not good, but then again, it goes back to the same thing we've been saying for the last year, I guess, on this podcast. This game was not supposed to come out later this year. As in later this year, early this year. It was not supposed to come out this year. It was supposed to come out it was supposed to come out next year, March, February, whatever the case may be, March, April. That's when the game was supposed to come out. That's why the GTA 6 thing was, I remember there was an article by a reputable journalist that said, like, yeah, a big multiplayer game is looking at GTA 6 and they're thinking they're gonna delay it again. But then they delayed the game. GTA 6 got delayed again. And they're like, fuck, what do we do? Because the game was supposed to come out in March or April, whatever. But GTA 6 is just there now. I'm like, fuck. But then, so they somehow managed to release the game now. Because it just makes sense. Like, let's do it before Call of Duty. Let's do it before GTA 6. Let's get all the money while we can. Attention, all that kind of stuff. So I heard them some stuff I heard the game development of the game development of this fucking game, of Battlefield 6. The development of Battlefield 6 was not going well whatsoever. We have it on record saying, I have some people saying, this is an absolute shit show. I don't know how the hell we can release a game this year. There's no way. That's not happening. That's what we've been saying. And then we learn, no, guys, we have a reveal, we have everything, and a battle royale and everything. It's coming out this year. How? So that's us on record saying that, right? Of course, many months later, the game comes out. It's playable. It was playable. But hey, let's not sugarcoat it. The challenges are shit. There was lack of content. Like the game was extremely bare bones. Extremely bare bones. Yeah, it's a good game. Game feels good. Sure. But extremely bare bones. Battlefield 6 was extremely bare bones, and still kind of is. And now, 2 months later, they had the new season. They did some changes, all that kind of stuff. Sure, it's a bit better. Much better than it was back then. And now we know, like, in the background, that this delay was... Someone made the decision to delay it by a month, and it went through loads of people to make that change. So clearly they need more time to work on stuff to make sure that everything is working fine and all that kind of stuff. But then the next day, it got changed back to the original date. So that means someone with some power listen, we need to make sure that whatever happens, we don't delay anything. We can't delay anything. Because we have to compete with other games. And listen, people say like, oh yeah, like sure, Battlefield 6 outsold Call of Duty for the first time in the history, right? Great. You still need to compete. You still need to compete with... For example, I played Call of Duty. Like, I played Warzone just recently. Game feels good. Warzone feels really good right now. It feels really good. Somehow Call of Duty is back from the dead. And people will play the game and like, well, this feels really good. And then you compare it to RedSec, for example, like, RedSec has so many quality of life problems right now. I'm just like, there's no stats. You can't ping while you're dead. There's some other stuff. It's just like small stuff just piles in together, and you're just like, why should I play RedSec over Call of Duty Warzone? Because Call of Duty Warzone right now feels freaking amazing, and that was the plan. RedSec was there to try to attract the Call of Duty crowd, from Warzone to Battlefield, which in a sense they succeeded. But at the same time, these are the same players. They're not gonna play and stay, and they're not gonna play RedSec for long because it's again very bare bones. I said it. Listen, okay, Battlefield 6 was rushed through the door just to make sure that it's there and they can gather the data, they can sell copies early and so on, like that stuff, because of the lack of competition. Great, that's cool. And at the end of the day, it is a successful game. It is. But like, what you released the RedSec prematurely. I personally don't want to play RedSec that much now because nothing to do. Okay, I won 4 or 5 games now with friends and everything. Cool. What now? What's the point grinding wins if there's nothing for me to to achieve there? Like, oh yeah, I play for fun. Okay, I play for fun. I'll go back to Warzone. I had my fun. So someone there in the executive says like, no, we have to make sure that the next season is released on time with no delays, just to keep the attention going, because keep the attention on us and so on, because we can't have any more setbacks. We can't have any more setbacks because that's it. The game is released. If we leave it just to rot in the background as we do changes and so on, yeah, RedSec will be good in a year maybe. Not good enough. I'm sorry, not good. You have to do it now. You have to do the audio changes. You have to do the stats. You have to do all the changes. And like I said, you have to make sure that the RedSec is being updated on a regular basis, that it can compete with Call of Duty Warzone and other BRs out there. And it's not even that. It's like Battlefield 6 in general. Like, can Battlefield 6 retain its player base? Can it be interesting, 6 months later? You can't take it forever to update the season. So someone at the executive say, no, we cannot delay this. It has to go. Why? Cut some corners if you have to, but you have to make sure that the season 2 starts on this date, as we said before. You can't delay by a month, but a month delay is insanity. Like, it kind of is. Like, I mean, so, sure, don't get me wrong. A lot of people are like, oh, it's only a month. Yeah. For you, maybe. Don't get me wrong. I like, when stuff takes time, because I have time to enjoy all the stuff that they can offer. But at the same time, I know I don't live in a fantasy world. I live in a reality. If I was an executive working in this game, and my job is to make sure that this game tries, I'm like, yeah, bro, we can't delay it. Fuck no, we cannot delay this. We have to compete. We have to be like other games. We have to be there. And I fully understand. Like, I understand from a developer point of view. Yeah, we can't delay it because it's just like, oh no, we want to delay it because like we have no time to fix this. We have no time to make sure that this is everything perfect. And of course me, I'm like an executive, like we can't delay it because like we have no room to be like delayed by a month because we're gonna lose the people, we're gonna lose the players and everything. Sure, we have no time for your perfection. The game is already out. That's the thing, and this is why the game is released prematurely. Yeah, best selling Battlefield game to date. Outsold Battlefield 1 already. Like 100 million players is achievable, funny enough, in this year. It's funny enough, we were making fun of like 100 million players and everything, but I did say it's achievable. And yeah, seems like is achievable. So the next investor call, whatever they're gonna do before the Saudi thing, actually, if they're gonna even do that, like, I don't know now, because they go by the EA go by the Saudis. How are they gonna do? Like, regardless, huge success. The game is a huge success. But Jesus Christ, the retention levels are probably not that good, I would imagine. They're really going down really fast. I mean, that's expected with any game, of course. But just like, yeah, some executives said like, no, we cannot delay this. So that's why like I'm really find this really fascinating because it's important like to understand how game development is these days, how everything works and all that kind of stuff, and that's basically the future of Battlefield 6. And there's so many things that we don't know what's gonna happen with the future of this game. What's gonna happen in 2 years? What are they gonna release a Battlefield 7? What's gonna happen with RedSec? Are we gonna get a new version of RedSec with Battlefield 7 or whatever the case may be? Are we getting finally a Battlefield reboot? Again, what's gonna happen with the RedSec? Is RedSec just a expansion of Battlefield 6 and we're gonna get a new Battle Royale or a new free-to-play element to the next game? So, and it all depends. Like what's the future of a Battlefield 6? I'm glad that someone realized, like, listen, we can't delay anything. We have to compete. But at the same time, I understand from developers' point of view, like, oh God, what do we do? Like, we have no time to fix anything. And which is quite unfortunate, really, really unfortunate. But that's the reality. That's the reality. I could not believe it. Like, when I played the Battlefield, when I played the Warzone update recently, I'm like, wow, this fucking feels good. It does feel good. The quality of life stuff they added, how the guns feel and everything, how the movement feels. I'm like, this really is fun. You know, they even nerfed the aim assist. Like, sure, it's not that noticeable. People get used to it and will probably will back to the same thing. But it's still, like, it is a change. It's an important change that it just brings people back. And RedSec right now, with all due respect, I was excited for RedSec for many different reasons. I don't feel like playing RedSec. It's like, even the winning doesn't feel that amazing because at the end of the day, like, I know the stats are being tracked, all that kind of stuff in the background, but then, like, as soon as they, for example, add, hey, new challenges and everything for RedSec, oh cool, do they track periodically? I know they won't. I know they won't. So again, you'll have to play again to get those wins, get that damage, get the achievements, all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, you'll have to start all over again. So I'm like, so I'd rather wait until they update RedSec before I'll wait for the challenges and the changes before I commit right now. I'll play other games or whatever the case may be. I'll go back to multiplayer. Sure, they go already my money, but not the point. So there's a lot of stuff with the Battlefield's future, Battlefield 6 future, all that kind of stuff. So it just, yeah, I'm glad someone, like, I hate to be the developer on this game right now. I really do. But I understand what the certain executive or whoever made the decision. Now, no, we cannot delay this. It has to come out. I get. I fully get. But that's what happens when you release the game prematurely without it's, a big, now they're playing catch up right now. Unfortunately, Battlefield Studios is playing catch up. Sadly. And with Modern Warfare 4 coming out next year. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. And apparently, as far as I know, Call of Duty multiplayer and Warzone are finally separate entities. Yes, they run on the same client, but for the first time ever, they're actually different entities. And so that means they can do finally the updates that people always wanted for Call of Duty Warzone. And the next year, there might be really important changes that will just bring Warzone back to its glory days, if that's even possible. But we'll see. And that's what Battlefield has to compete with. I understand different audience, all that kind of stuff, but it's not. It's not, really not. Lots of Call of Duty players played Battlefield 6 and RedSec, and some people liked it, some people didn't like it. And people that did not like it obviously will be more louder about that, but I'm like, yeah, they're still kind of the same genre of, of franchises, or whatever the case may be. So, yeah. So, developers want to delay this. They can't, because other games are doing stuff, and now they're playing catch up. I'm so sorry, developers. I'm so sorry, but that's the reality. Just like, kind of have to compete. You have to compete. That's the thing. Okay, so I can't believe I've been rambling about that for like 20 minutes, just like about this. But yeah, All right, so what else we can talk about here? Like, okay, so there's like repeat tournaments happening. So, all right, so the Elite Series is happening next week, or this week actually, as when you're gonna be listening. I'm thinking if I want to compete in the qualifiers. I don't know. I think I want to, but I don't really have the team for that. I kind of have players that are really good and all that kind of stuff. I know we're not probably gonna qualify for the Elite Series, but at the same time, I kind of think I just want to test myself, see if we can compete. And thing is, like, I don't know, because I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna be out of the country for like a couple of days. The podcast is still fine, but I'm gonna be out for a couple of days, and sure, I still can compete and be on time, all that kind of stuff, do those matches. But I'm just thinking, is it worth it? You know, for example, like even for the sake of competing, you're like, okay, you don't qualify, but you finish on this certain spot. Are you gonna get any rewards, for example, for competing? Because, for example, if you try to play Warzone qualifiers for World Series of Warzone, you get some banners, you get some calling cards, whatever the case may be, right? And if you try to play in the Red Sec Elite Series, in the open qualifiers, I don't think you're gonna get anything, you know, because I know it's being tracked through repeat.gg, and I don't think you're gonna get anything because I've been using Repeat GG for a really long time for Warzone tournaments and Fortnite tournaments, and now for Battlefield tournaments. I don't think you're gonna get anything, so there's no point really participating other than just for the love of the game. And I think that's the thing. You kind of need rewards to encourage people to participate, because just the idea, just like, oh yeah, you participate for the love of the game. A lot of people don't have that love for the game, you know, so they kind of need like an initiative to, or you know, a reason to participate in, you know, competitive qualifiers. Hence why I'm like debating if I want to participate. Sure, I have the love for the game, but do I really care that much? Probably not, honestly. I don't know. I will like. I do want to see how it goes. Only because I really want to see how the Red Elite Series qualifiers will go for Battlefield Red Sec, because it's one of those first important tests, you know, for Red Sec or for Battlefield as a franchise, if they can do proper competitive tournaments. And people will say like, oh, Battlefield is not competitive. Battlefield is like the perfect franchise to have competitive scene, you know. Hey, you still can play your Conquest, you still can play your Rush, you still can play your Breakthrough. That's not the point. The competitive scene for any game is just a free marketing tool at this point to promote the game for other people. If you're a sweat and you want to play competitive, you can, you know, and it does promote the game. It does promote, you know, the franchise, and it creates longevity for the franchise, you know. Look at Apex Legends, you know, even look at Fortnite, like, Jesus, look at CS, right? CS is nothing special as a game, but hey, the whole reason CS is alive and doing well for this long, for decades, is because it has a competitive scene, you know, and of course the gambling skins, but who cares about that? But competitive scene is what makes CS. Without it, there's nothing interesting about CS, honestly. You know, honestly. And so yeah, when it comes to like Battlefield community talking about competitive Battlefield and stuff, I stopped listening to them. Like, for example, the subreddit is just such an echo chamber that I just don't care what they have to say, because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what they have to say, because it's pointless. Their opinions are so skewed and all that kind of stuff, like to their own personal bias, and which, funny enough, we had Discord conversation between me, Ray, and Abe, and we were talking about, I can't remember, what was it, something, but I've been getting loads of comments about Ray being on the podcast, because Ray is basically a Baldat at this point. He's a Baldat. And he is about that. He's like, well, it's not realistic. Or who gives a fucking shit? You know, who gives a fucking shit if it's realistic or not? The point is to make the game fun. And I understand I'm not saying it's a bad thing that he's about that, because realistically, he is the 50% of the player base of Battlefield. So I represent the shitty sweat lords of Battlefield community, and he represents the other 50% of just casual players that just want to enjoy a good Battlefield game with, immersion, all that kind of stuff, and aesthetics. Like, there's nothing bad with that, but he represents the other side of the community, and that's why Ray's my friend and all that kind of stuff. But that's why I value, even though I loads of time I disagree with Ray's opinion sometimes about certain stuff, because he's like, the majority of Battlefield community, they don't play other games, they don't play other first-person shooters, all that kind of stuff. They don't play those games. They have no idea what's good or what's bad, so they just play Battlefield like, yeah, Battlefield should be this. I'm like, no, it should not be this, because other games did this, and Battlefield should improve on that, because other games did it better, So, but that's why I love Ray having on the podcast, because he gives that different opinion, different perspective from the Battlefield community that don't view the game or the franchise the same way as I do. But there's loads of people like him that do view it that way. So the idea is just to like, okay, let's have a conversation, like meet in the middle somewhere. And that's the whole game development process in general. You have to meet somewhere in the middle. So that's that. How do you even ended up here? Oh yeah, because compared to Battlefield, it's like, okay, so like the Battlefield community, I stopped reading their responses, all that kind of stuff, majority of the time, because like it's just, they're so brain dead. They're just like, I don't understand why you guys talking about. It's just like, you don't see the full picture. You guys don't see the full picture, and you're just rambling to yourselves. Oh, this is bad. This is good. Oh, why are they doing this and they're not appeasing my needs? I'm like, because you're not the only one, and like I said many times, like loads of people play Battlefield from different eras, and they grew up with different Battlefield game, and because back then it was a DICE nature to reinvent the wheel every freaking time with new Battlefield game. So everyone grew up with a different Battlefield game, and they have their own ideas what makes a perfect Battlefield game. And that's why we have all these conversations, because everyone hate each other and disagree each other, because everyone grew up with a different Battlefield game, because everyone has their own perfect Battlefield in their minds. And I'm like, okay, sure. Maybe that's why the Battlefield podcast is thriving and all that kind of stuff, because like, hey, we all have different opinions, so let's meet somewhere in the middle, that kind of stuff. But yeah, okay, what else I can talk about for like a minute, and there's nothing else. Like, yeah, okay, I'll just talk about the podcast quickly. So, long story short, podcast is doing well, really well. We're all-time high of listeners and viewers, all that kind of stuff. There's certain stuff that I am not happy how the podcast is going, and I don't know if other people see that, what I see, or hear what I hear. There's certain stuff that I really want to improve, because I'm the guy that keeps pay attention to everything, but I understand that everyone else not paying attention to everything, and I have to be basically the guy that corrects everyone if something is wrong, or whatever the case may be. Like if they say something wrong, and I'm like, I have to correct them, and I have to think about the future of the podcast too, because there's some stuff that if you've been listening to us on Patreon, you know that stuff are happening in the background. I have to make some important decisions about the podcast, and I have to make decisions about everything. But yeah, we're just doing all-time high in terms of listens and everything, which is great. Battlefield 6 is doing, it's a massive success. It brought a lot of people. But at the same time, I always think like, we could always have more people, because like we could always have more listeners. So if you're listening to this somehow, I don't know if you're still listening to my ramblings. If you're still listening to my ramblings, yeah, thank you so much. Do share this podcast with everyone else. I would love to, share it. Just let everyone know that, hey, there's a Battlefield-related podcast, and it's really good. And they talk about Battlefield from a neutral point of view, and it's always interesting to listen what they have on their mind and so on. And yeah, podcast is doing well. Always, of course, like I said, we're gonna do like an end of the year review, talk about progress with the podcast, our page and all that kind of stuff. Of course, I kind of wish we had more Patreon supporters, because that means I could do this on a more regular basis. I can do better in certain cases, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just one of those things that I kind of, it's tiring, just keep attention to everything. And I want to improve our standards to a certain bit, but again, it's just, I need help. I need help, but the podcast is doing well, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's that. We'll do an end of the year review about the podcast, and we'll have a conversation how the podcast is doing. But anyway, I'll stop rambling because at this point I'm just making circles. Anyway, I'm just gonna end the podcast here because just, yeah. Anyway, so thank you guys for listening. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. Thank you guys for being with me and just listen to me ramble about stuff, about Battlefield, about the delays or whatever the case may be. Please do leave a rating on the podcast. Please do. Do the survey, of course. That is in the description. Please do it. Join our Discord. Join our Patreon. Patreon.com/TheLankySoldier. Be involved on that kind of stuff. It means a lot. And thank you for listening to my ramblings. I understand that this was not a really organized episode. It was just me basically rambling about everything that is on my mind. But just thank you. It's the pre-holidays, Now we just kind of relax and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being with me, listening to me talk about something. And yeah, just be involved. Join our Discord. Just talk to us. Join our Patreon and that kind of stuff. So, of course, let me know if you enjoy this kind of format, just me rambling about something. Anyway, thank you. We'll see you on the next episode. We'll have Ray on the next one. We'll talk about this patch that already dropped, Winter Offensive review, and we'll have fun. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Time to tell you all about our amazing Patreon that is helping us keep the show going. Patreon.com/TheLankySoldier.
But yeah, episode 47. You paid for this.
I'm sorry.
I'm not. I don't care.
In my defense, I didn't know it was broken or it was going to break upon squeezing it gently. Battlefield 1 podcast was rebooted in March of 2023. We learned a lot of lessons from our previous shows that consisted of 41 episodes, and we've been building amazing foundations for the future with this current show. There's a reason why we're the best Battlefield-related podcast available on Spotify and anywhere else. We've also had the honor of being listened to by DICE, Ripple Effect, and other developers as well. Now, we want to share even more with you through our Patreon.
And I've never seen her. So I will be crying and yelling, and I will not be the same person I am right now.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ready for that kind of emotion. I know we're emotionally close and everything, but I don't think we're that emotionally close.
Yeah, that will be an experience of its own.
We want to thank everyone that has joined as a free member or subscribed to our Patreon in the last year. The support is greatly appreciated, always was, and always will be. It's amazing, and it only motivates us to continue with our Battlefield journey. By simply becoming a free member or even subscribing to any paid tier, you're not only supporting the show, but you're also getting a lot of content back in return.
Right, because Call of Duty gets so annoying sometimes, I actually got so desperate I installed League of Legends again.
Oh my god. The perks of any tier is you'll get ad-free early access to all of our future episodes. You can already listen to the previous episodes ads-free as well, simply by being a free member. There's no more waiting, no more interruptions, just pure unfiltered Battlefield content straight to your ear holes, from our mouth holes, and anywhere else. It's amazing, isn't it?
The only reason why CTE did as well as it did back in the day, guys, is because it wasn't locked down to secrecy. Those that couldn't participate were still able to see what was going on. That's the point that I'm getting at right now.
We're also giving you a behind-the-scenes look at what goes into making the Battlefield 1 podcast or any other content we produce, from planning sessions to recording mistakes and everything in between. You'll get an insider's perspective on how we bring each episode to life pretty much from start to finish.
And the reason why I'm saying
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's your fault.
It's all my fault.
It's all your fault, Ray. How did you ruined the whole show? We need to cancel it again.
Just gotta can it for another 8 months again. Just appear out of nowhere with
we need to cancel it again. Ray, what the fuck did you do?
And that's only Battlefield. We're also offering access to our exclusive Patreon podcast series, The Live Gaming Gathering. This is a show where friends and special guests get together and talk about everything from the video game industry to movies and whatever else is on our minds at that particular time. With more than 40 episodes already available, there's hours upon hours of content for you to listen to. All right, I think we need to move on because we've been kind of on this subject for about the last 15 minutes now.
Yeah.
We got a couple other things in order.
Are you feeling better now? Let this
Yes,
thing off.
I do feel better. I do feel better. Oh no, wait, one more thing. For example, Angelo. No, we were in discussion.
I'm not going to mention any names. Trust me, these are some of the most fun and amazing conversations we have ever had on the show. Because it's just us being us, relaxed and actually having fun. Almost like you're sitting alongside us with the conversation. Yeah.
So the reaction from the Fortnite community is like, okay, every time we see a Cybertruck in the server, it's our mission to drop everything we're doing and send that player back to the lobby.
We also believe in keeping our patrons informed, so we post monthly recaps to let you know what you probably missed during last month's episode, and we're making sure that you're not missing anything important. Just recently, we opened a brand new Discord server where people can talk to each other and get all of the latest updates about our content or the Lanky Soldier channel. Find the link in the description of this episode or at our Patreon. No subscription needed.
You are, as a player.
Have been measured.
Yeah, you've been measured.
Because we're confident that you'll love the content we're creating, we're offering a free trial that you can use at any time. We believe we're making good content that will make you stay, and we would not be offering free trials if we didn't think so.
I've seen a lot of people like literally get excited, like, you know what? This looks very familiar, clearly ripped from somewhere, but damn it, that looks good.
So, if you want to support the show and get all of these amazing extras, head on over to patreon.com/TheLankySoldier. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep delivering the content that you enjoy. Thank you for being part of the Battlefield community, and thank you for being a part of our community, and we look forward to seeing you on our Patreon. Now, let's get back to the show.